So, has anybody else noticed that there's been an influx of people saying they are going back to Forza Horizon 5? And the funny part is, guys, I wanted to talk about this for a minute because I do understand where people are coming from. We can all agree that Forza Horizon 6 is a better game than 5, right? I mean, map-wise at least, the map is 100 times better than what 5's was. A lot of people weren't the biggest fan of it. But to be honest, though, I think there's a few other reasons why people are going back to that game. And I'm going to admit something right off the bat as well. I even started playing FH5 again, but one of the biggest reasons for that was simply because there was vehicles I liked in that game, like the Mercedes truck that was the FE edition that's off-road. I love that thing. It is in Forza Horizon 5. It is not currently in 6 because they removed over 300 cars that will come back eventually. So a lot of players might have liked some of those cars and now they'll have to wait for them even though it's not really new rewards, but returning in the festival playlist. So that was one reason why I honestly went back and played it, as there's cars I really did enjoy in that. The thing is, a lot of the cars players might have liked, Forza Horizon 6 kind of launched without them. So I do kind of think this might end up playing a role there. We all do know each game will end up doing that, basically getting rid of cars and adding them later on as rewards. We all do know a lot of games tend to reuse rewards anyway, so I do kind of get that. But that also does not fix the fact that a lot of these cars will probably end up releasing most likely for the next 2 or 3 years in the game. And the fact that we're already getting those series reward things that are pretty much cars we've gotten in the previous few series, it might end up taking a very long time for the cars to return, man. And I gotta say, it is honestly pretty sad that they're doing it that way, but a lot of people might have to literally wait months or even a year plus to get some of the cars that they used in Forza Horizon 5. So I gotta admit, I understand that's why people probably did end up going back. Now, the other side of this, though, I have seen people talking about this, is Forza Horizon 5 was obviously a completed game. I mean, it's been out for 5 plus years. We all do know the updates stopped before then, but they do end up having both expansions. All the live service stuff is done. There is a max amount of vehicles in the game, so people have tons of stuff to do. There's races, there's DLCs, there's all kinds of things to really do, so it doesn't feel like you have to rush into anything or jump in. You have to do the festival playlist. I'll talk about that in a second, but one thing I gotta admit though, and I'm gonna throw this out there, going back and forth and playing some FH5, guys, I gotta say, Forza Horizon 5 somehow had better races and more races. At least that's what I noticed, okay? There's more road races. I do like the DLCs. They were entertaining. But I gotta say, though, the road races and the overall races in 5 were honestly really fun. There's some good races in 6. The issue is I feel like there is not enough of them. And yeah, could they add races later on? Well, sure, but the issue is we'll probably have to wait for the main DLC, which is most likely, I'm going to say and predict it, maybe it's a drifting DLC. I mean, that would make a lot of sense. We're probably not going to get more road races on the actual map itself, so I really don't see that happening. But the biggest thing I kind of looked at with it, though, is players might end up going back to FH5 and saying the game is 100 times better. And the issue with that is, yeah, the game is obviously fully completed, guys. It has everything in there, all the cars, and everything is pretty much done as well. So, of course, the game will end up feeling completed. I kind of think this is another issue with the live service model, is they will end up updating these games for a while, and then when they finally release the next version of that game or the sequel to it, or even the, Forza Horizon 2, 3, 4, we have the next version of Call of Duty. You guys probably get where I'm getting at there. But if they do end up releasing the next game, though, after years and years of updates in that said game, the next one is naturally going to feel unfinished. Kind of like how the Crew Motorfest felt super unfinished compared to the Crew 2, because the game is basically a bare-bones skeleton compared to the other game, because it was out for 5 plus years. Of course there's going to be more stuff in there. I mean, this is something we will end up seeing in most franchises. I would say it's kind of an issue because you pay full price for the quote-unquote newer version of that game, even though in a lot of ways that game can feel almost unfinished compared to the game that you had that you put all that time into. So I do understand where people are coming from with that, and I do think a lot of players will probably end up going into this cycle, which I kind of thought would happen with Forza Horizon 6. You go back into 5 and miss that game and love it, kind of like with Need for Speed Unbound. You go back to Heat and you love that one. You played FH5, then you realize you went back to FH4 and you love that game even more, that it's better than the next one, which in that case, FH4 was kind of better than 5. And to be honest, guys, in the recent years of Forza, after playing every single one of them this year, I will admit right now, I kind of like FH4 the most, even right now. And I'd say right by that is probably 3. And then 1's very close as well. I just loved how FH4's map was with the overall design. I don't know. I loved it. I still do. I still think they did things better in that game with the seasons than FH6, which is kind of wild considering it was 8 years ago. But nonetheless, though, the other part of this, though, is the festival playlist pressure, okay? We all do know, guys, this is 100% a thing. I do know a lot of players are probably not the biggest fan of the festival playlist in Forza. I mean, I think 99% of players, it could be pretty close to that, are most likely kind of tired of doing it. We all do know it's kind of a joke now, guys. I've said this before, but FH5's festival playlist is honestly better. I understand it has all the DLCs, it's got all the races, but I think they kind of dumbed it down too much in FH6, where they could easily add a few more things in there. And the issue is there's not really enough races on the map either. So the championship races are going to literally repeat almost every single week, which we are already really seeing because they keep doing off-road races, and then there's a few road races, and we also see some cross-country. But the thing is, though, there's not a ton of races, so they will easily keep overlapping way too often because of that. And the thing is, though, in Forza Horizon 5, if you were to go play it with the entire festival playlist, it's over. So you don't have to log on to the game because you have the fear of missing out on certain vehicles or certain things, or you have the fear of not doing that weekly checklist as it's always on your mind that, oh, I have to do this, or I miss out on this, or I may not ever get some of these cars, which people argue that the cars really don't matter, you don't have to have it. But the thing is, the cars are kind of the main part of the content of the game, bro. That's kind of the biggest thing. And I'm gonna do a hot take here. Cars are not content, by the way. So a lot of the games try to release 4 or 5 cars or put some cars in there as content. You drive the cars for a little while, and then you're already looking what to do next because you drive the cars, there's not enough races or things to do with them. Guess what happens? You get kind of bored. It's kind of like the people requesting cars on Motorfest, man. Like, yeah, you want those cars. You may be like, oh, yes, like if it was added, you'd be super excited. You drive it and then go, oh, yeah, well, what do I do now? That's the thing. Nothing, because the cars are cool, but there's nothing to do with them. I kind of think that's a big issue, and they have all those special cars in the playlist with the FOMO. Now they do have the, what was that, the dealership thing they added, so you can buy some cars. That's cool in Forza Horizon 6, but you kind of have to have some RNG base there to get them. Besides that, though, one of the things I noticed, though, is a lot of people seem to be happier that the playlist thing doesn't matter, which shows you how much the festival playlist really takes players over in the game. And it's honestly not in a good, positive manner, as people focus on that too much, man. You should want to get on that game and play it, not that you have to get on it and do stuff. I feel like if the entire festival playlist wasn't there, as we are seeing in how Forza Horizon 5 is, people probably get on the game and it's overall just more chill now, right? I mean, it's overall just more chill now, which is honestly pretty interesting. What's kind of wild to me, though, is it really does show that a lot of people do actually not want the festival playlist in there, as it kind of takes that overall weekly obligation away, and I bet you a lot of people probably like not having that on their mind. There's no worrying about FOMO, having to miss out on exclusive cars that you most likely would never get, or in the auction house they'd be 20 million anyway if you missed it or you weren't there that week because of a car. And then people are trying to say that if you have the car, or you don't have to get the cars. I understand that. The cars aren't a must-have, but the thing is, though, in the game, those are kind of the must rewards, or the must-have rewards, I should say, that you kind of need to get, because there's simply nothing else in there, as the cars are basically the content until the big DLCs launch. When you remove all of that, it kind of gets rid of that checklist type of thing, and it kind of just makes you want to race for fun or do certain things. And I kind of think, in ways, that might even be why players are looking at this differently. It's not that the overall gameplay changed, because clearly in Forza, it is kind of the exact same thing, right? The relationship that people are having with the game honestly changed. That's probably why they're going back to 5. I mean, they like the cars in there. They're not obligated to do the playlist because they kind of have to get cars that they've already had in Forza Horizon 5, which is kind of wild. Like, there are some new cars in there, and they are putting newer cars into 6 fairly early. But again, they're already repeating things we've gotten. The FH5 cars should already be coming in this game, man. I mean, there's 300-something cars there, right? Something around that. If they do that every single week, if they put a few cars in that a month, they will still have probably a year plus of cars there that they could easily launch if they were doing it right now. But the way they're doing it, only using like maybe 1, if that a month, bro, it is going to take literally forever to get some of those cars back. Unless they have something else planned, I really don't know. But it's kind of a very weird thing that I'm seeing with this game. I really don't understand the entire thought process behind the way that Forza Horizon 6 is being handled. It really does tie into other things I've mentioned, because the game clearly has a lot of potential. It had a lot of potential in ways. It had probably the best map they've ever made, arguably, and a lot of people love it. But when you have an amazing map, though, and other things fall kind of short, I kind of think people might end up getting a bit tired of that, and they also might not really have the confidence that the developers and all that would hope for, because eventually the DLCs will launch, the next Forza will come out, guys, and people are probably going to keep reliving this cycle. When Forza Horizon 7 comes out, people might go back and say 6 is better. I really hope 7 is not a Forza Horizon 4 through 6 clone with a different map. I really hope they actually try to do some different stuff. I mean, to be honest, with the overall playlist thing, instead of always focusing on cars, I really wish they would have focused on more customization for like 100 of the cars and had rewards in there that is not 100% FOMO, by the way. Like, don't do that, but put rewards in there like body kits or different customization things that give players different things to go after, man. Instead of giving us the same cars we've already gotten, it's really not a confidence builder in players to really get on that game and want to do stuff, because they have it, or they've already earned some of these cars 3 or 4 times previously. It's kind of not really the type of thing you'd really want to see in one of these. And I really do think, guys, that's probably why Forza Horizon 6 has shifted. We all do know the game has some... people will argue the game has a lot of content, but my goodness, as I did mention in that one video, the amount of people that are bored, and then I started seeing a ton of posts about people going back to 5. I even downloaded FH5 again and started to play it, and I honestly could see why people are going back to it. Yes, the map may not be 100%, but all the cars you liked in there that might not be in 6, they're in that game, and you also are not obligated to do a festival playlist anymore, which I would say they're probably doing that on the PS5 version, because they're probably going to be launching it on 6, hopefully before GTA 6. I really don't know at this point, as nothing has been said about it. I was kind of thinking maybe an October launch date, something like that for that game. But at this point, I really don't know, guys. But either way, though, I want to know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you guys think about a lot of people going back to FH5, what they've been talking about with it, saying they enjoy it more, it's more fun to go play? I can definitely see why people are saying this stuff after really thinking about it and playing the game and seeing how the cars are not there, and then we'll get those cars again in the next game as quote-unquote new rewards, and then the entire game is, you know, complete, so it probably does feel a bit different now compared to a game that came out that has less content overall, as it is the next entry in the series, and they have to build that one up, and then the next game comes out, and then that game will end up being in a similar cycle to where people might end up going, oh man, it's kind of bare bone, we have to wait for the DLCs now. And guys, you know what the issue with that is? I wanted to mention this as well. Everybody is waiting for the DLCs now because a lot of people are already bored of Forza Horizon 6 with the way they are handling this game and have handled it, whether that's less customization, overall less things to do, things are just not engaging enough to keep people there. Yes, the map is amazing, but if you have an amazing map and there's nothing else, it ain't going to go very far, man. You kind of got to have things to tie into that. But one thing I kind of thought about, though, was simply down to the fact when that DLC finally launches, most players are probably going to fly through that DLC so dang quick because there is simply nothing else going on in the game. So when that content finally drops in 6 or 7 months from now, people will only play that and completely destroy it insanely quick because there is nothing else in the game, and then you'll end up wanting more stuff. But you have the festival playlist still. They might end up adding a couple new races in there. Big whoop on that one, I would say. And then we also wait for the next DLC for the same cycle to start. And the issue with that is the live service fatigue that these games are honestly having. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Motorfest has it too. You wait all that time, you get the update, there is nothing else. You have a tiny few races, a couple things to do, and then boom, you are already bored because it's just simply not enough to do there in between all of that stuff going on. Like, I could really see this game dropping off more before the next DLC comes, as we don't even know when that actually is. And I also want to ask again, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Why do you guys think a lot of players are going back to Forza Horizon 5? Like, let me know what you think, as we're already kind of seeing numbers dropping off on this game. And I'm going to be real, guys, I'm not really that surprised with how the game was handled. Certain things players really did expect with this game just really did not meet the expectations. And what I mean by that is the customization, the way they really could have captured this map even more, just doesn't really seem to be there. And that was the other thing I am planning a video on, by the way, which I really need to talk about. A lot of people have been mentioning how this game was in development for 4 or 5 years or whatever it is, and people were kind of expecting more stuff out of it, but it doesn't really seem all that different than 5 in a lot of ways, besides the map they are using, which I'm going to say this is not really the best look, to be honest. I think it probably gives people less confidence in the next game. As they were doing 4 or 5 years, were they focusing on the map? What were they really doing? As a lot of the designs in 6 seem to be almost backwards in ways. Like, yes, again, the map is amazing. The seasons is dope. But what about everything else that players also would like to be able to do that would give them options? And a lot of it just doesn't seem to be in the game. So it kind of makes a lot of people go, why was this game in development so long if it didn't have all kinds of really cool new features that people were expecting? Kind of something I've been thinking about. But again, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Why do you guys think so many people are going back to FH5?